Hey, hey, Facebook. Happy Wednesday. And you've got it. Today is Entrepreneur Wednesday. So for those of you I don't know, my name is Patricia Cimino. I'm an empowerment coach and I help entrepreneurial women with their entrepreneurial journey, whether you're just starting it, maybe it's just in the idea stage, or you've begun it. I help you through that whole thing. And in effort or with an intention to inspire you, I started this mini series, Entrepreneur Wednesday, back in March, where every week I bring to you a different woman so she can share her entrepreneurial journey. So if you enjoy this interview today, please throw some hearts, drop a comment. And if this is an area that you want to explore, reach out to me through PM. I'm happy to have a consult with you on what might be in store for you. So without further delay, I want to introduce to you my special guest today. Her name is withTrainer, and she is an integrative, holistic health coach and also the author of a book called Pause. So I'm going to let her share her journey with you. So welcome to the broadcast, Christine.
Thanks for having me, Patty. It's great to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. So I just want you to share with the audience, who you are, what you do, and who it is that you serve.
Excellent. Great. Well, like you said, I'm a board-certified integrative holistic health and wellness coach with a focus on functional nutrition. I'm a member of the Association of Drugless Practitioners, the International Association of Health Coaches. I'm an author, meditation instructor, student, yogi, marathoner, mom, and wife. And a mom of 2 sons and a puppy. And, I live outside of Chicago, and I'm serving people that, whether they are uncomfortable in their own skin because of autoimmune conditions or other chronic lifestyle diseases or issues, skin, health, sleep, nutrition, weight. I deal with women and men all over, really. I have clients outside in Boston, New York, Seattle, California, Florida, Wisconsin, and then right here in the Chicagoland area.
So when you say so there's a lot of different health coaches out there, which is awesome, right? Because people are becoming more and more aware of their health and noticing that it's the most important thing, right? We don't have our health, we don't have anything. But when you say functional medicine, so I want you to share what kind of sets you apart from a lot of these other health coaches, because everyone seems to have their own niche. So share what functional medicine is and what your niche is.
Absolutely. Well, I am passionate about the mind-body connection and really getting to the root of our symptoms. Mm-hmm. And I think that coincides with really what functional nutrition and functional medicine is really getting to the root of our symptoms rather than treating the symptoms. Mm-hmm. So as we approach whatever it is you approach your skin condition or a weight condition, you approach why, and not, instead of just going on a diet and trying to fight this up and down yo-yoing weight or fight this chronic skin condition that you've had since you were 27 and it comes and goes somehow around periods of stress, coincidentally. You really treat that root symptom of what's causing that, what's holding you back, what's not allowing healing. And that's the difference with functional nutrition and medicine. It's really approaching it rather than band-aiding it. We really get to the root.
Yeah, I love that. So you have had quite a journey, and I want you to just share what led you up to this, because I love how entrepreneurs, they're being led to do something because it's something that is personal and something that they went through, which then they want to share. So share your journey of how did you end up here?
Well, it's been quite a journey, and it's been something that, I think I've personally, I've overcome my own autoimmune conditions
Wow.
through a complete lifestyle change. Mostly clean, plant-based, but finding real balance and peace in my daily life and passion in what I do. But my journey started, I would say, right after college. I was right 3 months after college. My boyfriend of 8 years was stabbed to death. And I really just threw myself into work. I didn't properly deal with that. And luckily, I had great family and friends around me supporting me. But I really just threw myself in work and didn't look back. And luckily, as much as I resisted, I did continue to live my life. And I fell in love with my husband, and years later got married, and things were going well. I had a successful career. I was traveling the world, but I was on autopilot. I was an adrenaline junkie, just work, 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 getting up, running 5 miles, having 4 venti white mochas a day, just working constantly and living really fast and not really listening to myself and my feelings and my passions, and that self-care did not exist. And I was expecting our first son, and I got a call at 2 a.m. and things were going great. We thought, well, this is, how you're supposed to live. We're young, both working, traveling. All right, time to have a baby. And I get a call at 2 a.m. and my brother of 46 years old, he died suddenly. And so the call at 2 a.m. as I was 5 months pregnant was telling me that my brother Al had passed. And that was, that again, rocked my world and my family. And, but I was 5 months pregnant, and I just kept on going. I really did not, again, address what that grief and what I should have been dealing with. I really just kept throwing myself now into work, but also into being a mom. My parents and my entire family, never the same, of course, but my parents were really heartbroken. And my father died 7 months later. And he was the main caretaker of my mom, who had early onset Alzheimer's. So that was, again, 7 months later. So my son was just about 3 months old. And then 7 months later after that, my mother passed away. And again, kept working through, and really didn't take the time to stop. I mean, here I was only 30 years old, and I had these 3 huge losses in my family, and just 8 years after losing Matt, So I really just worked and started having children. And so I had my second child 2 years later, 2.5 years later. And all of a sudden I wasn't feeling good. I had like one thing after another. And I finally went to the doctor thinking that I had the flu or something. And he diagnosed me with a handful of autoimmune conditions all at once. I mean, I was in complete shock. Hashimoto's, hypothyroid. I had been diagnosed previously with Raynaud's. But then there was just more testing, and they were looking at all these different things, and they had me come back 6 months later, and they said, you have lupus. So
Oh my gosh.
I was in complete shock. I thought, what? I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I'm running. I thought I was healthy. I was eating lots of salads, but that was on top of my 4 venti white mochas a day and my sugar fixes throughout the day that I had in my office and my briefcase of hot tamales and Sour Patch Kids. But I really didn't think that I was unhealthy. And I really wasn't sleeping. So that night, my husband had a job offer, and he had always had previous job offers before to move. And I said no, because I had this great career. I had invested so much into that, and I really wanted to continue to build that. And I loved where I was. corner office, Fifth Avenue and Manhattan. And it was, this is what I was supposed to do, at least that's what the adrenaline junkie thought and the autopilot kind of track I was on. And, but that night I was like in shock. And at the same time, my son, who was 2.5, had all these respiratory issues, and he'd been diagnosed with chronic bronchitis and restrictive respiratory airway disease, which I thought, what's going on? My first son didn't have any of these issues, and he had all these allergies. And so I started experimenting things with him, and I started seeing how diet was really affecting him. And that night, I thought, I had so many tears. I remember saying, I don't want to move. I don't want to give this up, but this is all of the work I put into it. But I remember feeling like this sense of, this is the time. Like, you have to do this. Your health is more important. Your struggle with making sure Alec was healthy and just getting us all on the right path together. And so we said, yes, let's do it. We'll move, but this will just be a pause. This is just a 2-year pause in our life. We will come back. I'll get back here. I'll get back on track. I just need to find a way to do it all and balance it and be healthy.
And back here was East Coast, right?
Yes. And so we moved to Chicago, and I stopped running on autopilot, and I stopped taking everything for granted. I really started feeling like the kids, I had never been home with the kids before. And I remember our first couple of weeks, I was like, oh, wow, what did I think? This is harder than working. But I let the love of the kids and the chaos and everything I just soaked it all up, and I took it all in, and I started planting, and I started cooking healthy meals, and I started really just breathing and going back to my yoga practice, and I started meditation. And I thought, wow, like, I started feeling so much better. And I was noticing differences in my son, Alec, and the food changes in our life were really drastic. I mean, I really cut off the venti white mochas completely and the sugar. And I thought, I need to explore this more. I really need to get back to like what's happening. And I felt this big pull. And so I went back to school and at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And then I loved that so much. And I passed the boards, and I read integrative health coaching. And I wrote this book, Pause, here. That's
you have the book there that you can hold up?
Yes. So this pause, that 2-year kind of break in our worlds back on the East, became our new lifestyle. It became our lifestyle, became our way of health. It became I got back into writing. I got back into everything that I was always passionate about, but the kind of path that I was on and that I thought I was supposed to be going on took me away from. And now, I've run 2 marathons. I'm completely off of prescription drugs. And I am helping others kind of find their own ways, because traditional medicine doesn't always take the time to really look at the root and what's causing you all of these ailments, where in my case, it was, stress and not dealing with those inner feelings and the grief that I kind of just shoved aside and thought, just, nope, you're graduating from college, you're supposed to be working, you're going to be successful, and this is how you're going to do it. Instead of really just things happen and you need to accept them for what they are and really feel them and deal with them before you can move on, and our body really holds on to it. So.
Yeah, but I love how you said, I felt this big pull. Like, I love that, because how many times And you can go out there in the audience. How many times do you get a big pull, that feeling, and you ignore it or you shove it under the rug, right? So it's so critical, like to pay attention, like you did, Christine, to that pull. And I bet it kept coming, right? It kept coming at you, that pull.
Yeah, it did. And the timing was, should I do this? And really, once I started really going back to school and learning more about the nutrition and experimenting with myself and my own family and how much better I was feeling, it was really amazing to see the results. And I just was so excited to share that with others that I thought, this is what I am meant to be doing. This is what I should be doing.
Would you say that that's your big why? Like every entrepreneur has a why, a big why that gets them through the rough times, that gets them through the ups. They hang on to their why. Is that your why? Or do you have some other why?
Yeah, I think that definitely is my why. It's I think we all have gifts to share with others, and I think we are all meant to help others in some way. And I feel like that is my why, where I think in this world that it's, not such a big world anymore, especially with all the technology and we are more connected to each other than we even can imagine. Yeah. And I think, the more we really help each other and build up each other, the better place the world will be. So that is my why.
Yeah. So, okay. So shifting from corporate, New York, marketing professional, then mommyhood, and now entrepreneur. What has been your biggest challenge as you step into this role of a business owner?
It's really continuing to walk my talk, especially in our industry, Patty, right? The wellness industry, like there is so many things that we can be doing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But, that doesn't really fall in line with wellness, and really taking care of ourselves and our family and listening to our, inner selves and what we're supposed to be doing. So I think as an entrepreneur, you feel like there's so much excitement because there's so much that you want to do and you can be doing. But everything has a time and a place. And I really think that keeping that clear in my head and letting myself know that that's okay. Like you need to put that aside right now. You need to focus on this and that will come, I think even, scheduling today with you, it was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to do that now, but it was like, but let's schedule that. Let's make it, it's all going to be in good time. And I think really as an entrepreneur, especially in the wellness industry, you really, it needs to be authentic and I think genuine. And I think in order to be authentic and genuine in the wellness industry, walking your talk is so important. So yeah. I think that would be my biggest challenge because as life for all of us gets busy, whether you're just working, traveling, or juggling the home and children, everything can hit the fan sometimes. And I think it's just really maintaining that clarity around it's all in good time, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So is that your mindset when life gets hairy and things are going crazy at home and your business, is going, exploding and you're like, is that what is your mindset during those moments? Like, what do you say to yourself?
Yeah. Well, I always say, I say this to myself and I say this to other people as well and clients, and my own sons, change your mind, change your life. That's kind of that type direction or approach. And really, I think focusing on just the small wins and one step at a time and really being positive and making sure that I'm filtering out negative. you know, so when life gets hairy, really making sure that I'm clear and focused on my intention and making sure that it's in line with who I want to continue to be and who I want to be seen as, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, also I think, you know, really my faith and my family and friends, um, really that those things combined with my mindset are really what got me through those difficult times.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what advice would you give to another woman who's thinking about taking this entrepreneurial journey?
So do it. I mean, start now. It's never going to feel like the exact right time. And I think, you know, there's so many. I love this quote. It's by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it was, it's our deepest fear is not that we are adequate. Our deepest fear is that we are beyond, no, that we are powerful beyond measure.
Love that quote.
You know, and I think that risk of failure, you know, is worth it.
Yeah.
Not doing it and regretting, you know, is so much heavier. And, you know, so I think, you know, starting a little at a time and maybe doing it on the side if you're uncomfortable with diving in full, you know. But I think that just really getting out there and doing what you're being told to do is what will bring you true happiness and fulfillment.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
until you start, you won't know.
Right, right. So one question that I love to ask the women that I have on here is, what is the best mistake you've ever made? And it could be business, life, whatever. Best mistake you've ever made.
Oh, funny. Well, you know, I've made plenty in the kitchen. That's I love cooking and I love going off the recipes. And I think that's probably one of the more, I make more mistakes in the kitchen though, but they end up turning out well. But in all seriousness, I think the best mistake I've ever made, um, you know, was probably God. It's hard because you know, I think it goes back to a funny story, and it's not really related to my business, but it got me to where I am now, and it did change my life trajectory. So, you know, I met my husband at work. I had thrown myself all in work, and the mistake was that I was in the wrong meeting, um, and so I guess that would be the best mistake. It really did change my world and my life.
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, Christine, thank you so much for taking time to be here today. Tell the audience where they can find you online, and you know, if you have any upcoming events that are local, because we have a big following that's local here that watches these Entrepreneur Wednesdays. So share with the audience where you're at.
Great. Well, I have my website, which is redintegrativehealthcoaching.com or redintegrativehealthcoach.com. Both will link you. I'm on Facebook as Christine Trainer. You can look me up as Christine Trainer and Pause, the book Pause. And then Instagram at Red Integrative, Twitter, Red Integrative as well. And I do have some upcoming events. One, I have corporate workshops right now until the end of the year. It's usually what I do. But then come January, I have some living toxin-free workshops, some New Year, New You workshops, some public events that are going to be, one is January 24th at Spring Orthodontics in Western Springs. I also have, where's the other list here? Max Fitness in Hinsdale. I'm going to be doing a New Year, New You. Lux Honor in LaGrange. I'll be doing some workshops with them come January. And then Hinsdale Public Library, as we're on the schedule for February, I believe. I got to double check that date. So, and more. So please stay tuned. I always, I'd love to connect with people, whether it be on Facebook or my newsletter, my website, Instagram, and
yeah, and her book is available on Amazon, you guys.
yes, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and it's also in area bookstores and wellness spas.
Awesome, awesome. Yay! Well, I'm so happy to have had you today as my guest. To all of you who are watching this broadcast, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. There's been a lot of inspiration in this little conversation that we've had, and I just am happy we were able to bring it to you. So until next week, make it a great one. And Christine, thank you again for taking your time out.
Thank you for having me, Patty. Have a great
day, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.